Hi, welcome to the farm.
It's time to make hay. We're going to try something different. The cattle are coming at the end of the week. Well, we've had a super rainy month of May, haven't we? I think it was almost 9 inches of rain. And this is the first time that we can make hay. And if you look at the next, 5 or 6 days, it's supposed to be warm and breezy with no rain. So hey, it's time to make hay when the sun shines. That's true, isn't it?
Yep, and you think it needs done?
Yeah, and you're my partner in this. You do just as much in this as I do.
I get to do the tedding and the raking.
Yeah, and if you're not sure what that is, hang around. You'll get to see Brenda on the equipment. Farmers have other options, including hay binds that cut the hay very low and they put it through rollers to crimp it. Now this is a horizontal mower, has heavy blades, and it chops it up just a little bit, but that's okay because especially in the first cutting of hay, you have a lot of stems, and we don't mind if that gets chopped and broken a little. It helps it dry out better. But what's different in the back here of this brush hog is there are panels down below, and I took the lower panels off, so when the grass is cut, it'll spin out the back very quickly. The key also is for me to go a little faster than I would normally if I was cutting the field, because it cuts it and we don't want it to get chewed up too much. So we just keep the tractor moving, and it does a great job. It's, I think, within 10 or 20% of what a hay bind would do. But the key is that it saves us a lot of money not having to have another piece of equipment. And I only have 9 acres to make hay. So I really don't want to have more equipment, clog up my buildings, and have something else to maintain. So let's go ahead and give it a shot and make some hay today. All right, we made one pass cutting across the pasture, and it's full of orchard grass and timothy and some fescues. And I cut it higher because we have a couple cattle coming later this week, and I wanted it 5 or 6 inches so there would be plenty of grass for them to eat. So that means a little bit less hay. But if you look at this grass more closely, there's a lot of stems in there. So I'm glad that we cut it with the brush hog. Chalked it up a little bit, but there's a lot of beautiful grass in here. The problem is it's all clumped and it's in rows, so Brenda's going to take the tedder across the whole field. She has the advantage that you can go much faster with the tedder than I can the cutter. However, the small tractor here does not have a suspension. The wheels are smaller and it's a lot rougher of a ride. So be careful, Brenda, and go easy. I'll be inside watching TV. Let me know when you're done. All right, this is the most important element of making hay, and it's the tedder. What? A lot of people are not sure what a tedder is. Well, the tedder just fluffs it up and it turns the hay over so that it dries properly. And in my opinion, you can't really make good hay without a tedder. You can do without some of the other elements, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, but you can't do without a tedder. It needs to be flipped over, otherwise all the hay on the bottom has the moisture on it. It's not going to get the sun, it's not going to get the wind, it's not going to dry out. So great hay is made with a tedder. So it's going to be actually the second time that we're going to do this. Now the first time Brenda did the tedding, she used the little tractor, and she had to use a little tractor because I was using the big one to cut. So this time though, I swapped over and I have the tedder on the M5400, which is a lot better to ride on. You can see it's got the much larger tires, the front and the rear. It also has an amazing seat, which I'll get up here. And when you bounce on it, it's got springs. So I'm not going to get any of the hard bounces and beat up like Brenda did when she was doing it. But don't tell her. Don't tell her. Okay, let's get the tedding done here. And should only take about an hour, hour and a half. Okay, well, we cut the hay and we tedded it, and now it's time for an experiment. You know, we're Homestead, we don't make nearly as much hay as the farmers around here do. And they use a hay bine or a disc bine, and they ted it, and they rake it, and then they have various balers to go. But that's 4 levels of equipment just to make hay. A Homestead, we're gonna try to do without the disc bine or hay bine, which we did already. We cut it, and I think it's okay. And then we already talked about the tedding. Absolutely necessary. It's great. What I'm going to try to do, though, is skip the raking part. Because the tedder, it combines it about 50% and moves it more into a center column. And I'm sure I'm going to have to go over the field a couple times more with the baler. But if I can do without having to have a rake, owning a rake and storing a rake, that's going to be a win-win. So this is going to be a trial just to see how it goes. Because the baler back here, it's got tines on the front and it reaches down in the grass and it pulls up some of the hay, but we won't know how it comes out until we try it. So here goes nothing. So today we're going to continue using the Kubota 54 horse diesel. It's a great tractor, category 2 implements. Today we have the new idea baler, a round baler, makes 48-inch bales. And up in the driver's position up there, you can see we have the digital control that controls the baler in the back here. So if you come around back, we can show how the round baler works. You can see it's powered off a PTO shaft here off the rear, and then just connected to a drawbar. It's not connected to the 3-point hitch. So interesting with this baler, in the side here we have 2 spools of the twine, and they come through, and we go around the other side, you'll be able to see where they come through. But this is a twine baler and not a net or a plastic. I think for us it breathes well and really works well. And down below, these are the tines and the rake that draw the straw or the hay, depending on what you're baling, up into the baler. Now I have the hood open in the rear here, so let's go back and take a look. As we come around back, the hood is open. You can see inside the baler, and it's basically conveyors, 4 belts that go the whole way around the bale. And when the feeder tines throws the hay in, it just gets it circulating. It rolls and rolls, and it gets bigger and bigger as you go along. And then there's digital sensors for weight. They can tell when the bale is full, and it sends me a signal up at my operator station, and I hit the button for it to begin to put the string on to bind the hay. You can see the 2 blue ropes up front. They start in the center, and then as it spins, they work their way toward the outside until the whole bale is tied. And then I can hear the knives cutting it. I open the hood, and then the bale comes rolling out the back. These 48-inch bales work really well for us here. It's a lot easier than throwing the small bales. In fact, I have a tractor with the bale spear in the front. We load them easily into the barn, and then just once a week I take a bale of hay out and drop it in the bale feeder in the barnyard. So this is the way to go for us. Well, that was a busy week, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, and I'm glad it's done.
Yeah, and we did not get rained on.
No, but almost every time we do this, the last day, all of a sudden, there's a storm heading our way unexpectedly, and we're usually scrambling at the end.
Yeah, and then no rain.
No, it didn't hit. But we have to get it in just in case.
Yeah, so it's great. We got 12 really nice bales. They dried. They're good. I feel good about that.
And the trial wasn't a total failure, but
no. Okay, so we got 12 bales. I usually get 18 bales. So
if we rake it, when you rake it gets pretty much all the hay.
Yeah. So we left a third of the hay out in the field. And if you go out and look at the field and look at the grass, you can see, yeah, that seems reasonable. I see probably 6 bales of hay laying here across the field. So we made good hay, but we lost 30% on it. The other thing is that the baler, when it was picking up the hay, it was such small amounts that it made it very difficult for the string, the twine baler, to actually work. So we had a couple bales flop that the twine didn't catch.
Like the one we showed you, it rolled out and just unrolled.
Yeah.
It wasn't twined together.
So between those two things, lower production and then some failed bales,
we need a rake.
We need a rake. So fortunately, the rake is the least expensive equipment, and you know, that's all we use is used equipment anyway.
Yeah.
So I think we'll find a reasonable rake out there.
Probably on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. And hey, the cattle are out there. They love the field. They're eating some of the leftover hay that's out there.
Yeah, they're happy.
Yeah, they're happy. Now, our biggest challenge now is just picking names for them.
Yeah, it's 3 steers, 3 boys. So we've talked about 3 musketeers and 3 stooges, which our grandkids have
They're
no
all
idea.
boomer names,
yeah, our
though. They don't
grandkids
know who
don't know
they
Larry,
are.
Curly, and Mo.
Yeah.
So we've got to come up with 3 boy names. So if you have suggestions, let us know.
Yeah.
But we got to call them something.
Our grandchildren carry a lot of weight in this category. So,
If they come up with something.
yeah.
Right now they're being pretty quiet, so we'll see what they come up with.
Yeah. So, hey, thanks for joining us on the farm this week for Hay Week.
We'll see you in our next video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we can get down now?
Yeah.
Without breaking our necks. Us old people.